Well, Sasquatch sightings have been reported in every state in the union except for Hawaii. But now the search for Bigfoot has gone global. Joining me now is Bigfoot researcher and host of Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot, Cliff Barrickman, with more. Good morning, Cliff.
Good morning to you.
Thanks for being here on the Morning Blend. I've got to ask you, I've watched the show. I think it's phenomenal. It's chilling in moments when you get so close to so many of these findings. But I think the most obvious question I have to ask you is, why haven't you found Bigfoot yet?
Well, what do you mean by find? Find is kind of ambiguous. Proven Bigfoot, I understand that's a really good question. But as far as finding one, we've kind of found them a lot of times, because for us, finding one basically means getting close enough to try to hear one and record their presence, either with audio recordings, through footprints, or the ultimate goal for us, of course, is also to film one.
Okay, so I know some of the most popular footage, that many people have seen is the Patterson-Gimlin film from long ago. There's been a lot of films that you kind of try and prove or disprove on the show. What would you do if you proved that there's Bigfoot?
Well, I guess if we proved Bigfoot was there, we'd change the name of the show to Bigfoot Found. And from there, I would keep doing the same thing I do now, because I'm not really out to try to prove Bigfoot is real. I'm out there to try to learn as much as possible about them. I don't need to know if Bigfoot exists. I want to know how they exist.
I think it's fascinating. The show is amazing to me. Have you ever had an encounter, and what was it like if you have?
I've had a lot of encounters. I saw one once in North Carolina. I've got very, very close to them on several occasions. I've had rocks thrown at me out in the middle of the woods. I've heard screams from a great distance and surprisingly close. I've been around them on a number of occasions. So as far as encounters go, yeah, probably several dozen. But then again, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Absolutely, and I think your experience is so profound and one that's really fun to watch on the show. One thing I remember hearing Matt Moneymaker, who's one of your partners on the show, say is that if you make the sounds similar, those screams that you kind of talked about, if you're out in an area that there may be a Bigfoot, you could expect them to possibly come around. So I'm wondering if you think if someone's in the woods, they make the sound, they expect that a Bigfoot is coming near them, do you think a Bigfoot would be more or less dangerous than other wild animals?
I don't think Bigfoots are really dangerous. I think they're potentially dangerous because they're immensely strong, large, wild creatures. But if they were dangerous and they tried to hurt us or eat us or do something like that, we would have gone after them with pitchforks and torches a long time ago, and this wouldn't be a mystery at all right now. Part of the mystery of these things remains because they don't want much to do with us. They're intelligent, so they're curious, so they might watch us for a while, kind of like watching TV, but it's human TV. But really, after a while, they take off because they know that we're not in their best interest.
Do you think that they're so smart that we just cannot catch them on better video or better photos? With all the advancements in technology, you would think that we would have better images and evidence of Bigfoot.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because as technology advances and more people are getting really good quality things like video cameras and cell phone cameras into their own hands, the number of supposed Bigfoot photographs and films has also increased. Of course, the hoaxes have also increased at the same time, but still, a lot of these possible Bigfoot photographs, in my opinion, probably show Bigfoots. And I think that we're going to continue to see a growth in the number of these things that are reported as more people realize that Bigfoots are probably real, and if they get a picture of one, well, then maybe their picture could be used as some sort of evidence.
What are you most excited for with this season? For somebody who's a huge advocate that Bigfoot exists, or somebody who says absolutely no, why would you tell someone to watch this season?
This season, for me, is really, really special because we go to so many new places. And the more places we get to go to, we start looking for commonalities, what those places all have in common, and what Bigfoot's like. So when we go to South Dakota, we can see what does that place have in common with, say, British Columbia. And because Bigfoots are a perfectly normal species of terrestrial mammal here in North America, they like certain things. So the more places we go, we're seeing commonalities, not only in habitat, but also in behavior. And I think that's the joy of the show. We go to a lot of different places and to talk to a lot of different people, but when you listen really closely, what they're reporting remains the same.
Some of those same experiences, like I remember hearing in one, hearing fingers go across the side of your tent is a common thing that Bigfoot might do if you're out in a space where they exist. Thanks so much for being here, Cliff, on the Morning Blend.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you can watch Finding Bigfoot. It airs on Animal Planet Sundays at 9 p.m.